Hey everyone, my name is RevTrev, and this is my channel, Kempner Canucks. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Love it that you're here. Love it that you watch my videos, and I love it that you interact and we comment together, because today we're going to be talking about a very, very big question, and we're going to be talking about the NHL officiating. NHL refs, do they suck? NHL, do you have a problem? This is the big question we're going to be diving into today. There's a lot of heated conversation that can be happening here. And actually, my mess up with the NHL and the NFL is, if we're honest, every single league has officials and controversy around officials. And so we need to remember that. There's also another thing we need to remember is, even though we like to complain or discuss and talk about this controversy, some of the good or bad calls that refs make, they're still human, right? And so, you know me, I'm not a guy who likes to complain about the refs. In fact, it depends. As a coach, sometimes it's hard not to. Sometimes refs make the wrong call. I have to remind myself that they miss calls sometimes, but nowadays, it's one thing when it's live and you have some live officials. Another thing now with instant replay, with opportunities to make the right calls, with calling the head office and league office and getting a ruling on it during game. I'm just thinking that we need to do a little bit better. Now, I do not like complaining about NHL officiating. It's actually a loser's mentality to continue to complain about officiating. It usually teams that lose are complaining about the refs, right? Now, it is hard, though. Let's just be honest. It is hard when you're playing a team and you're a tightly matched opponent, right? It's a good game, and you got to overcome the opponent and the refs, right, with the bad calls. And as you know, I went to the game with my friends at the Avs Canucks game. These were my friends. 3 Trevors and a Jesse went to a hockey game together, and there was a lot of complaints about officiating. Now, the reason why I want to make this video is because I've gotten some hilarious comments in my videos, especially in these 2 ones when I did the recap video, where I was very vocal about the reffing, and of course the one that I just talked about. So I want to dive into that, but I do want to say just one thing, and it was something that I was having a conversation with Japan about, and I'm having a lot of people talking about the same thing. This is not a Canucks thing. This is not a Canucks thing. It's not just against the Canucks. We're talking about officiating in the NHL. There's a lot of complaints this year about the officiating. The calls, there's been a lot of people's minds, horrible calls, inconsistent calls all year. And it must be very frustrating for the players and the coaches to say, like, what's a penalty and what's not, because it does feel that some of the penalties are kind of voted differently, ruled differently. And it depends which ref you have. And it depends, so we're kind of confused, right? And so I'm confused. The players are confused. The coaches are confused. And there needs to be a better consistent basis, right? And there's some big questions that are being asked, okay? Now, before we dive into that, can I just remind you, follow me on Kempner Canucks at Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube. I'm trying to grow my brand, and I love making passionate, realistic, and honest Canucks content. So if you could take a moment to do that, this is one of these passionate, honest, and realistic videos, and you might get triggered by this. You might be like, oh my gosh, they're always complaining. No, I'm not a guy who always complains about the refs. In fact, I'm making a video on it to even prove this even more, but it's a discussion we need to have, because I do think officiating has been struggling this year. Let's just be honest about that. It has been struggling. They have not been perfect. Not that I'm requiring perfection, but just a reminder, guys, If you could take a moment to hit that like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that. Okay. Should the refs be held accountable for bad calls? That is a question that people are asking nowadays. And my question, whenever someone asks that, is how does that work? In the bubble, they had to come. I remember Joe Cooper was talking to me about this. In the bubble, they had to come and kind of share a little bit more. Like they went to the mic and talked about the calls. Some people think we should bring that back. Now, I don't know if that's the best idea. Part of it is on a fan base. I think it would even trigger the fan base more if they always had to defend every call. And I think being a ref is stressful enough. It's difficult. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world for sure. Not in the world. Okay. It's one of the hardest jobs in sports for sure. Being a ref would not be fun. Okay. So I don't even know how that works. I don't love the idea where they have to sit in front of a bunch of cameras and have to explain every single call that they do. Okay, everyone. So, but I do think that they do evaluate reffing. They are trying their best. They have clinics. They have conversations with refs, and they're trying to make officiating better. So I don't know how we hold. Post in the comments what you think of what you would mean by we hold the refs to be accountable for bad calls. Do they get fined? I don't know. I don't know at all about that. So it's just an interesting conversation, don't you think, everyone? I think it's interesting. And speaking of it, Japan Force in the building right now. Good to have you here, man. Just mentioned our conversation we were having, but I do want to talk about this a little bit more because the pushback that I'm getting from people in my comments is absolutely hysterical. Okay. I think it's so funny how people just lose their minds when it comes to this, and they're accusing our fan base of hilarious stuff. So let me just show you this. For example, this gentleman came into thing and says, does your fan base do anything other than whine and complain? The victim mentality is exhausting. I agree with that. I'm not a fan of victim mentality. I often don't blame the refs, but in every video I make, I blame the refs. I don't blame the refs in every video I make, which I just think it's hilarious he posted this. Is it the ref's fault that Susie got the delay of game penalty? Is it the ref's fault your soft team can't play in the third period? Now, I do appreciate what he has to say here, but I do think he's out to lunch. Now, let me explain to you quickly what I mean by that. I want to bring this up. Are Canucks fans a bunch of whiners and complainers? I wanted to ask that question of us. And you know what my answer is? Some of us are. Some of us are. But guess what? Every single fan base in the entire NHL complains about officiating. So this idea that we're the worst, we're the worst whiners and complainers. Listen, Oilers fans do it, Flames fans do it, Red Wings fans do it. Columbus Blue Jackets fans do it. It does not matter. Toronto Maple Leafs fans, Canadian fans, does not matter. Vegas. There's whining and complaining about the referees. It's just a fact. And in fact, that's part of the fan base. And it comes down to personalities. Some people love to go negative on everything, and it's always conspiracy theories. I'm not that guy. I don't think there's a conspiracy theory. I don't think the NFL refs are rigged. I don't think the Major League Baseball refs are rigged. I don't think the NHL refs rigged the games. I don't think that. I don't think the NBA guys do that, or college guys. I don't think that. Now, has it happened? Yes. I think the majority of refs are very integral people when it comes to making the game as real and authentic as possible. Okay? So I do not agree that I do think it's a loser's mentality. It's a victim mentality to always be blaming the refs. But there are some refs or some calls that are the exceptions to the rule. And I felt like the Colorado game was the exception to the rule. So that's why I brought it up. So I want to just go back to that guy's comments. Okay. And this is how I responded. Thanks for watching and commenting. By the way, I don't care if you agree with my takes. I am okay that you have a different opinion than me. We do not have to land perfectly together to be happy and cohesive, okay? And to work, like, you know what? I'm just thankful you came into my stream or my video and you watched my video. I'm totally cool with that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, even if it's something we don't agree on. Now, if you're rude, that's another different story, okay? I'm not a fan of, calling other people down, all those kind of things, being, anyways, unnecessary stuff, right? So I'm cool that you came in and made a comment, okay? But I'm going to push back if you're going to be like this, okay? And I have no problem that you, so this is where I'm like, let's be honest, every single fan base complains about reffing. Come on. The Susie call, and I've said this in my videos. In fact, I think I said it in, which video was it? No, it wasn't that one. It was this one. In this one, that the Susie call, like, that was correct. It was legitimate. It was unfortunate, right? So that's what I said. The Susie call was good. It was just unfortunate it happened, and we knew the game was over because they were going to score. It sucked. It absolutely sucked that it happened. But it was the right call by the refs. Susie shot it over the glass. That's a penalty against us. Okay? So, but then this is my pushback. So let me get this straight. You're complaining that we're complaining about the refs. You come into my comments to complain about me and our fan base complaining. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that hypocritical? So it's like, stop complaining about the refs. Now we're all complaining now. This is what the mess is, okay, buddy? So yeah, I got it. And just to clarify, our team is not soft. The Canucks are not a soft team. I'm sorry, but we are best in the West, everyone. Record-wise, we're best in the West. Now, what are we going to do in the playoffs? I don't know, but I'm going to cheer them on. So the answer, are we a bunch of whiners and complainers? Some of us are, but every fan base is the same. Okay? Now, I want to show you one more comment, and this got crazy, okay? So another guy, obviously you can see Quebec Nordiques symbol comes in. Why are you not talking about the two previous non-calls on that shift? Or how about you don't slash, throw the biscuit over the glass, and not get outclassed in the third period? Yes, we got outshot, outplayed in the third period. That is a legitimate point. Yes, that happened. The problem is the slash was so, listen, and that's what I put out. Okay, let me just read what I put, because thanks for watching and commenting. I agree the Susie penalty at the end of the game was legitimate but unfortunate. Good call. That was totally Susie's fault. If you're referring to the Cole slash, come on. It was a great acting job by McKinnon. That's a fact. That's a fact, guys. He barely put his stick on his. Oh. Are you kidding me, McKinnon? Now, it worked, right? You got the penalty, but we went on a 5-on-3, and that was a difference. So what about getting owned in the third? Part of it was we went on a 5-on-3, okay? Here we go, everyone. That's what we're talking about here. So, yes, that's a bad call. And then I said you should check out my Avs video, Avs Canucks recap video I did last night. I gave a lot of credit to the Colorado Avalanche for coming back, but I also explained why I was upset about a couple of the calls from the refs. And then this guy, Jay Teal, comes in. Apparently you know nothing about hockey. Good day. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? And the other comment I didn't want to post, he's just insulting Are you kidding me? Like, you can't even have a conversation. You get so triggered that you come in and insult my hockey intelligence. Listen, I'll tell you this right now, and this is for free. I am not an expert in hockey. I am a passionate, realistic, and honest fan, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I see, exactly what I feel. Okay? Now, will you agree with it? Probably not, especially if you're from a different fan base. But at the end of the day, I'm cool with it. But I know stuff about hockey. Obviously, like, I wouldn't do this if I didn't have a channel, but I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert. I'm a fan who's passionate. I'm a fan who gets into this, but I'm realistic. I'm realistic. And speaking of realistic, everyone, this hit right here, I'm telling you right now, this is not a 2-minute minor. It's an illegal hit to the head was the call, and they didn't call it a 5-minute major. I am upset about this call. Okay? And we're not just a bunch of whiners and complainers, everyone. Okay? That's not what we are. That's not what we are. But that hit was dangerous. Now, not only am I raging about this call, okay? They're like Sakaris and Price. Matt Sakaris went off about how dangerous this hit is, how he drove his head he was in a vulnerable position, drove his head into the glass. Rempe got 4 games. This is what my friend Caverly said at the end of the video, the live in-person video, and he's very angry all the time at the refs. Okay, I am not the same as him that way. I just think it's really funny, and I had to put that in the end of the video because it's awesome. His stuff is so funny, but he's right. The Rempe hit with the elbow there was very similar, and Rempe got 4 games. Why is not the league looking at it? They're saying, we're not going to look at that. I think that's garbage. That's absolutely garbage. I think there's been many hits this year that have got suspensions and are valid suspensions. I did not like the Zadorov suspension. You heard me say that, but it got done, and it is what it is. And Zadorov even said, I got him. And so at the time, I thought it was a good acting job by Raymond on that one for sure. And I posted a video on my Facebook page that's a reel. It's got over 500,000. It's like 534,000 views. It's still today getting things because I'm like, is this a suspension or a great acting job? I think it was both. I think it was a penalty. I didn't think it warranted suspension, but I was wrong because the NHL did. Okay. And it was a great sell job by him. See, JT Miller, if what he would have done is when he got hit, fell down like a sack of bricks and just like laid on the ground, holding his head, went off the ice, I'm telling you right now, he would have got a 5-minute major. But because JT Miller's not that guy, he didn't go and do that. And that's fine. There's one thing we love about JT. We're glad he's okay. But that could have been concussion. It was a very dangerous play. So yes. So all these people, all you do is whine and complain. No, I just complain and bring up the ones that are valid, that are obviously where every fan base is a little bit biased. Okay. But at the end of the day, that was dangerous. And if people want to continue to come in to my comments and say, oh, you guys, you know nothing about hockey and all you do, your whole fan base. No, you're going to go after our whole fan base. I'm pushing back. Because you guys are the ones that are out to lunch. You guys think just because you had enough money to get a computer or a phone and you signed up on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook that you're the gift to hockey, that you're the smartest guy in the room? Come on. You're not looking through rose-colored glasses. You're not looking at the bias. Exactly. So this is what we're dealing with, and I understand this is part of the whole thing about me going live, posting my opinions, that not everyone's going to agree, and I totally am okay with that. But the idea, the audacity to come into someone's comments, and there's so many negative people out there, And that's totally fine. But you know what? This fan base, I want to tell you something about this fan base. This fan base is faithful. This fan base is loyal. I love the Canucks fan base. When I did this, I thought I was going to get way more pushback from our fan base. I understand from other fan bases, they're not going to be happy. Okay, I'm totally cool with that. But at the end of the day, guys, our fan base has been faithful. Our fan base is hungry for a cup. Our fan base is excited about this team winning. I want to tell you one last story before I get into the comments, because I'm live streaming this. If you're watching this after, thanks so much for watching after. Hit that like and subscribe button, everyone. But so that video that I posted of Zadorov and he hits Raymond and Raymond does the little and it like totally embellishes it, and came back in the same game just like JT Miller did, played, but there was a suspension, right? A guy comes in and he's going back and forth and telling me how incredible his Detroit Red Wings are, okay? How incredible his Detroit Red Wings are and how garbage our Vancouver Canucks are. Meanwhile, we're first in the West, and his team is on a 7-game losing streak. 7 games. They're falling off like they fell off a cliff, everyone. And I like how the Detroit Red Wings are building their franchise, but they're nothing compared to the Vancouver Canucks. You don't have the goaltending. You're not going to make the playoffs. So the guy comes in and all full like, Red Wings. It's like, cool. Awesome, bro. Let's see how this plays out. Because you might think we're a bunch of frauds. You're actually the frauds. Like, I have no problem that people come in and say different things. Anyways, I've been having fun raging. This is my honest, realistic Canucks passionate commentation. So let's go here. Okay. Even when they go to OT or instant replay, they still make to Toronto or instant replay, they still can make mistakes. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the guy was pretty rude for sure. We get called for every little thing, and they miss all of our calls. How does that? No, we don't. Yeah, exactly. Japan for we don't. They don't miss all of our calls. It's not. The world isn't against Vancouver, but you're right. How does that even work? So you think that the refs need to be put on the spot and explain their decisions to keep accountability? Okay. I don't really think that needs to happen, but you're definitely, that's okay. The Susie call was a penalty, but if all the other calls were made, that penalty might not have mattered as much if we scored. Yes, exactly. The slash penalty, we wouldn't have been in that position, right? Exactly. So, and the only reason, is because his team sucks. I don't even know what team he is, right? So, Doc, good to have you here. Welcome. Personalized, as a referee for hockey, I can understand that no ref is ever going to see everything. However, we do go with a game plan of our own. This means emphasizing on certain calls over others. Yep, that's a great point. I just finished making an Elias Pettersson edit. The quality of the video is horrible, but it's still probably the best video I've ever made. Oh, awesome, Doc. That's great. I'd love to see it. Please send it to me. The Avs do not suck, Toy Maker. Come on. See, that's that comment, and I think you're just trying to be funny. That comment right there is exactly like we need better comments. I think you're being facetious because the Avs don't suck. But like people are like, your fan base sucks. It's like, or the Avalanche suck. Now, I love to joke around and bug the other teams too, but you're right. They don't suck. They beat us twice, actually 3 times this season. So they're better than us so far. I was so shocked that it was only a 2-minute penalty. I was yelling I was standing up and I had my hand up saying 5. That's a 5-minute. All my friends were doing the same thing. The Mars section was doing the same thing. Like people were like, and it was. I still to this day think it was a 5-minute penalty. If it's not a suspension, it's at least a 5-minute penalty, in my opinion. I just wanted at least 4 minutes. Me and my homies hate Manson. Yeah, right. It should have been a 5 and a review. Yeah. Duck, I'm a huge JT Miller fan for sure, too. I sincerely believe that under the NHL rules and guidelines, a 5-minute major must be called. Miller should have also been pulled under the concussion protocol. He did. He went out, and then I think was it the period ended? I think so. I think I could be wrong. He came back. So, okay. The only reason it wasn't called a 5-minute penalty was because Miller took it like a man. Yes. If someone dropped, exactly. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It takes away from the integrity of the game and looks weak like soccer, which I call diving. Soccer is diving. I do not want the NHL to turn into a dive fest like soccer is, okay? I wish coaches could challenge for a better penalty call. Yeah, that would be awesome. You nailed it. Miller wanted to avoid a concussion protocol and his getting up made it 2 minutes, not 5. Yes, you're right. Absolutely. Even in retaliation, yeah, they're looking for that. Well, I don't think they're the least knowledgeable. In fact, my friend BPAC, he and Billy Henninger, he comes in and he's really smart when it comes to hockey. I have another friend named Monty. He really knows his hockey. He's an Avs fan. I do not think the Avs are the least knowledgeable. I just think it was this guy. So Random Boy comes in. Dude, that Avs game was ref so poorly. That should have been 5 minutes, and slash on Cole that gave the Avs the 5-on-3. Wasn't a slash. I agree. And that call changed the entire game. You're right. And it's not just me that's saying it. We're talking about every single media outlet was talking about that in regards to the Canucks, right? Yeah, Miller had to go in for protocol. Okay. But Dreamy, you're right. He shouldn't have to fall down for the refs to do their job to protect the players. This is a great comment as well. If it was McKinnon, it would have been a match penalty. That is a fact. If it's McDavid, if it's Matthews, you know what I mean? If that's what they're doing, guys. If it's Pasternak, it's a match penalty because it's Miller and he's tough. Not saying those other guys aren't tough. So, did you forget all the ads with the Cups when Peter, Joe, Ray, Adam, and even Patrick were on the team? No, I did. Yeah, they're good. He's just joking around, personalized. He's just joking around. McKinnon should get an Oscar for that hooking call. I agree, man. I agree so much. That was crazy, but he got it, right? He got it, and he got away with it. So I think I'd rather see Buffalo make it over them. Are you talking about Detroit? Yeah, for sure. And Oscar, maybe the Critics' Choice Award at most. Yeah, McKinnon is such a talented player. Miller is such a talented player. But he is, McKinnon is ridiculously good at drawing penalties. Yeah, this is not soccer. Okay, Random Boy. That was a good acting and a really poor call. Okay. They got a young, exciting team coming up. Would be cool to see them again in the playoffs. Are you talking about Detroit? Yeah, I like Detroit. I just didn't like that one fan. He was annoying. Yeah. Yeah, you're old, Toy Maker. I love it. Yeah, I'm getting up there too, brother. But here's the thing. Like when that Detroit Avalanche series back in the day with Claude Lemieux and all that stuff, that was wild. That was crazy, right? So it was absolutely nuts. Okay. So, yep, that call completely changed the game, in my opinion, too. Who was that when Detroit and Colorado went at it? I think, yeah, exactly. We were just talking about that. It was wild, all the Hatcher stuff. Anders says, I don't think Canadian teams ever get fair reffing in the playoffs, especially. I'm not sure about that comment, but I mean, you're entitled to your opinion on that. Look at the Boston series. Tim Thomas can take a 4-step interference charge into Daniel out of his crease. Yeah. I mean, and they broke Raymond's back, right? Yeah. The penalty, JT, would have changed the whole game. At the match penalty, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Cole went for the stick lift, and McKinnon did the touch. Oh yeah, I think he had his his stick there. I just don't think it was bad as it was an acting job. Yeah, exactly. He acted. Do referees have job performance reviews? I believe that they do, Born, but I don't know how that all works. But they have to. They have to be. The Avs are an amazing team. The refs just could not be the best players. I think it's too hard to beat the Avs and the refs. That was my opinion. Duck thinks that the refs should have to interview after the game. Jack was at the game too. Manson, yeah. Rick Dollywell said there is nothing happening to Manson. I know, this is what bothers me. This is what bothers me. The NHL should be doing this, okay? But they're not. They're not. So it's a moot point. It's a moot point, but it's a great video. Just saying. Good topic to talk about. No, yeah, Roger Nielsen, towel power. Good point. Good point. McDavid will still win the scoring title. Yep. Avs still play the Oilers 3 times. They could single-handedly give us the Pacific. That's a good point, Jack. McDavid to win the scoring title, but maybe not the Hart. Okay. McKinnon should go play soccer. Oh, yeah, you were talking about Detroit. Rather see Buffalo make it over to Detroit. They seem more exciting. Yeah, I like Buffalo too. Yeah, love it too, to be honest, right? Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm just happy Miller is okay, but the Manson hit was nasty. Easily should have been 5 minutes. Okay, so last comment before I get into the end here. So do NHL refs suck? No. Yeah, that's the answer. You're right. The refs don't suck. They're the best refs in the world, everyone. They're at the highest level. They just made some mistakes, but it's up to the GMs to determine how the refs officiating the game, how the refs officiating the game, and ensure it's consistent. And when it's not, to raise questions. I agree. I think we have a problem this year. Okay, everyone. So I think if you win a challenge, you should get another one. I agree. I think the NFL does that, or they don't lose your challenge, right? Got to roll with whatever the Zebras do in the playoffs. I know. They're going to let a lot go in the playoffs too. So there's going to be a lot that's going to happen. Junior, true facts, 38 to 45% of refs, Ontario or Canadian. The rest are USA. Canadian teams penalized twice as much. Interesting. Just a reminder, everyone, that tonight I'm going to be live streaming after the game. Please join my live stream. So glad that you are here. So I'm going to go live after the Capitals game tonight. Capitals game, I believe, starts at 7 p.m. So I'm going to be going live about 9:45, maybe a couple minutes early. So I want to invite you to that. Invite your friends. Let people know. And share this video about do the NHL refs suck? Do we have a problem? Please share this with other people. But I'm so appreciative on a Saturday afternoon, you stopping by, or if you're watching this later, thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe. Of course, always, you gotta help me out, everyone, and hit that like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. But have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. I'll see you tonight. I'm pumped about tonight's game with Ovechkin coming into town. And we'll talk about the game after. And, of course, always, go Canucks. Go.